Most definitely not your grandpa's Caddy. This week I'm testing one of the most iconic super sedans the company has ever produced. Let's take an in-depth look at the all-new 2017 Cadillac CTS-V. Now, before I talk about the CTS-V, let's briefly talk about the CTS in general. Now, this is a vehicle that first came to the Cadillac lineup in 2003, and it was widely responsible for starting a new era of sports sedans from Cadillac. It introduced the brand's art and science design theme, a rear drive platform, and it really showed the general public that Cadillac was trying to be more like a BMW. They were trying to bring their standard of the world nomenclature back to the industry. Now, the CTS has actually gone through 3 generations. Now, this particular one that I'm showing you is now in its 3rd generation. It was first introduced in 2014. If you remember, I showed you guys a 2014 CTS-V Sport, not to be confused with the actual V series, but that's exactly what I'm showing you today. Now, this all-new 2017 CTS-V was introduced last year. For 2017, Cadillac has basically kept the vehicle the same. A couple of new options are available. A carbon black package is available to make the vehicle look even more sinister. And the company's camera rearview mirror that I showed you in the CT6 and the XT5 is also available now on the CTS-V. Now, you can see compared to the previous generation, the 2nd generation, this all-new one is a lot longer. It's actually about 6 inches longer in overall length, about an inch longer wheelbase. It's a little bit lower. It's actually slightly a little bit more narrow, but you wouldn't really notice. This vehicle has a very sinister, imposing, aggressive, and very American design. Now, despite the vehicle being a lot larger, it actually weighs about 200 pounds less than the old CTS-V. Now, you can credit that to GM's all-new platform. This rides on the stretched Alpha platform that was introduced on the ATS, and it also underpins the Camaro. And this is just an incredible chassis. I've shown you guys the ATS-V. I've shown you guys the new Camaro, and the CTS really just takes everything that I love about those vehicles. It just makes it more spacious inside, more refined. This is a mid-size super sedan that goes head-to-head with vehicles like the BMW M5, the Mercedes E63S, and the Audi RS7. Now, under the hood, you have a version, basically the same motor as the Corvette ZO6. This is the new LT4 6.2-liter direct injection supercharged V8, which makes all the right V8 noises. And in case you guys are wondering, GM did add cylinder deactivation this year and direct injection, so it's slightly more fuel efficient, but honestly, you don't buy this for fuel economy. Now, you can see, looking at the side profile, the 19-inch wheels are standard size diameter. You cannot go to a 20 or 21-inch. They don't offer it on this car. They are staggered wheels. My particular tester is actually running on snow winter tires because we're in December. This car came from New York. It needs tires like that. It's on Pirelli Soto Zero Winter Series tires, which are actually really good tires. I would prefer to test this car on summers in the summertime, but hey, we're in December here in the DC area. Now, out back, you actually have staggered 295 with tires, 265s in the front. The brakes, they're 6-piston Brembos up front, 4 pistons in the back. They're like 15-inch rotors, so they're massive brakes. Cadillac does not offer carbon ceramic rotors, which I'm actually glad because these steel rotors are going to be easier to live with on a day-to-day basis. Now, at the rear, you have the same signature Cadillac design cue with the vertical stack LED taillights are standard. They go well nicely with the LED daytime running lights with the signature light pipe that goes basically from the top of the fender all the way down to the lower fascia. And this car just looks sick, especially in this white exterior color, the white tri-coat with the carbon black package. You have the carbon fiber rear lip spoiler, the carbon fiber rear diffuser, carbon fiber front spoiler, and then a carbon fiber hood. I mean, this vehicle literally, I think, is one of the best looking super sedans on the market, and everything in this class, honestly, you can't really go wrong. But Cadillac still gives you the bragging rights with the most horsepower, and it has the most American, the most brash look. So I think the design will age extremely well, especially when compared to the previous generation CTS-Vs. But enough about the gorgeous exterior. Let's take a look at the inside and see if it matches the good looks of the outside. So this being the flagship of the CTS lineup, the V comes pretty well equipped. It comes standard with the company's smart key access system with remote start. So if you are dealing with a chilly morning like I am, just push the lock button here, push and hold this. And the vehicle starts right up, and it will piss off all your neighbors if you live very close to them with that loud exhaust. Now, coming up to the vehicle here, it basically works like all the other smart intelligent access systems. To lock the door, you push this button here that locks it. To unlock it, you also have to do the same thing, touch the button, that unlocks the door. It doesn't have the sensor on the back. Now, checking out the interior of the latest CTS-V, you can see my tester has an optional Recaro seat. It's about $2,300 extra. For the Recaro seats, they're 16-way adjustable. They really hold you in place. You can adjust the bolster here, and the lumbar 4 ways. I highly recommend the seats, especially if you're going to be tracking the car. You can adjust them based on how wide you are. So if you're fatter, you can actually fit into these seats. You do lose the cooled seat function when you go for the Recaro, so keep that in mind if you guys want to have your cooled seats. Now, stepping inside the CTS-V, you can see it definitely feels lower than the standard CTS sedan, which is a good thing. You want that to be the case. When you shut the door, it sounds solid. This chassis is a pretty good chassis, even though it's been around for a couple of years. It's still very strong. Now, to get it out of remote start mode, put your foot on the brake, push the button here to turn on all the electronics. And then, of course, you're greeted with the Cadillac Q user interface. Now, the V gives you a large 12-inch monitor here, which is customizable. It goes very nicely with the 8-inch center display here, which is the Cadillac user experience, their Q interface, which has been updated over the years. Now, compared to the CT6 that I showed you, you're dealing with the smaller screen here, obviously, but we'll go into that in just a moment. Now, look at the interior quality of this vehicle. You can see Cadillac has made some upgrades to the V series just to differentiate it. You have the company's signature cut and sewn interior where the dash is entirely leather stitched everywhere. You have perforated leather on the dash. You have some splashes of real carbon fiber with a low gloss, just to show that you're in the V model. Looking at the door panels here, it also has more of the the stitching, the carbon fiber. It has some suede just on the upper portion here. Down here, it's all leather stitch where your elbows are going to reach on the armrest. It's even soft touch down here, right on the storage compartment here. The window is one-touch automatic for all four. You kind of expected that. This is a pretty expensive super sedan. Now, my tester has an optional $300 suede steering wheel, which is also heated. That is standard. The 9-3 grip is nice. I kind of wish that it was only suede on the bolsters. I would prefer it to be leather up here and down here. And I kind of wish it was a flat bottom. I think the steering wheel could be a little bit sportier looking. It looks a little too similar, aside from the suede, and a little bit thicker rim than the standard CTS models. Now, you can see the gauge display here is pretty nice looking, much better looking than what you get in the ATS-V. Now, this is standard on the V series, but it's an option on the regular CTS models. But you can basically customize it from this controller here, or you can change the two side screens here where you can put completely different information, whatever you want. There's so many ways you can customize it. You can even leave it on a boost gauge there. There's a G meter, your fuel economy, your trip. It shows your oil temperature, coolant temperature, battery voltage, oil pressure. I mean, there's so many ways you can adjust this. Even your tire temperature, it'll tell you if your tires are cold, normal, or hot. One thing about this system, there's a lot of options. You can adjust the layout if you want, so go to here to display layout. I have it on V Performance. That's what I personally like it on. You can also put it on Enhanced, where it will completely change the actual look of the display. I don't really like the Enhanced. Let's take a look at the balance. What does that look like? Pretty cool graphics. I actually really like the balanced look. That's interesting. You get back a actual speedometer, whereas the V Performance, you actually lose the speedometer. So play with it and see which one you like. I think this also looks pretty great. You can also change the color of the tack. Whenever you use the drive mode selector here, go into its sport or track setting, the tack actually changes to a white color, and then you can see there'll be a little checkered flag as it switches modes. So of course, there's so many ways you can customize it. It opens up in a baffle in the exhaust. When you put it into sports, you'll hear it get a little bit louder. Now, let's talk about Q for a second, because this system has definitely been criticized a lot by the automotive press. I really hated Q when it first came out, but I have to say that Cadillac has made extensive updates to the car throughout the years, and now you can get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which definitely improves Q a lot. I mean, I love the fact that Apple CarPlay is here. It makes the system a lot easier to use. You have your typical voice commands from Siri and stuff like that. To get out of Apple CarPlay, you just hit the home button here, and it basically gets you out of that. Now, the system itself has definitely been sped up. The navigation display is basically the same GM stuff. It has the 3D rendering settings with the sky on the top. It also has the proximity sensor, so when you stay away from the screen, give it a couple of seconds, the graphics at the top will go away, and then when you bring your hand closer, it'll sense your hand coming back. So there you go, here it disappeared, and then as soon as I bring my hand closer, the graphics come back. So it is pretty cool. It definitely works a lot faster, and you can see here the touch response is a little bit better. The screen is just too small. I would like to see Cadillac update this interior with a larger 10-inch screen in the CT6, but that's going to be coming for probably a refreshed CTS. This vehicle is probably due for a refresh in the coming years. When you put the vehicle into reverse, you do have a nice backup camera, which is standard. You have trajectory, you have parking sensors, front and rear. You can also change your views. When you put the vehicle into drive, it also comes with a front curb camera. So you can see here, GM wanted to make sure that you didn't scratch up that expensive carbon fiber front splitter. You can literally see where the wing or where the front of the car is when you're trying to park this car, so you don't beach it on a curb, which is definitely nice to have. That is standard equipment. You don't have to pay extra for that, luckily. Now you can see here, lots of buttons. This has the older Q system with the touch sensitive buttons. I hate the touch sensitive buttons. I really like the fact that the CT6 have gone away with this. I would like to have a volume knob instead of this slider here, along with all the other touch sensitive buttons here. It just doesn't work. All the shiny black plastic really just pisses me off because you have fingerprints all over it, which is why Cadillac actually gives you this little cleaning cloth when you buy the car, for OCD people like me who don't want to deal with the fingerprints. Now looking down here, you can see there is a little place here where you can stick your finger there and it'll reveal a wireless charging pad if your phone is compatible. There's also another USB port there. To close this, just kind of rest your finger on there. It'll close, you don't have to actually push. The cup holder lid is motorized as well. They introduced that on the new CTS a couple years ago. It's a nice gimmicky feature. Definitely something to wow your passengers. The 8-speed transmission is the only automatic available, the only transmission available. There's no more manual available. You have to go to an ATS-V. It does give you a manual mode with paddles on the wheel. These are magnesium paddles. You have your different modes here, of course, from touring, sport to track, and then snow mode. There's a little bit more storage and a 12-volt right there. Your center console here is a decent size. There's another USB in there. It's lined with felt. The glove box is actually opened from this button, or this little touch sensitive pad there. It opens electronically. It's damped, it's lined with felt, it's a decent size. You can see my tester has an optional ultravision sunroof, panoramic sunroof, $1,500 extra. It's definitely nice to have. You can close the sunshade electrically if the sun's a little bit too much. You also have a nice little power rear sunshade as well. My tester has that as part of a luxury package. Definitely nice to have. It reminds you that you bought basically a mid-size luxury super sedan. This vehicle is really easy to drive. It has a lot of premium features in it. The heated steering wheel is nice. The heated seats are nice. I am missing the cooled seats, of course. There is no like massage seats, but of course these are the Recaro. This is more of a super sports sedan as opposed to a luxury sedan, but it does have some features in it to remind you of that. I just think at this price point, this car is over $100,000, and I don't think it looks like $100,000. It easily looks like $70,000, $80,000, which is what this car starts at, as $85,000. But I think that I'd like to see Cadillac do a little bit more for the V Series models to differentiate it, to make it even nicer on the inside. The rear seat of the CTS is also on the larger side, considering this vehicle is bigger than most of its competitors. You can see here, stepping inside, it has kind of the same step-in height. The roof is a little bit low, so I find myself ducking my head just to make sure it doesn't get chopped off from the roof. And now shutting the door, it sounds as solid as the front. You have these manual rear sunshades, which is part of the luxury package for $2,000. More of that carbon fiber. It's all stitched even down here. You can see the seats actually do have two mat pockets, even though it's a Recaro seat, so I like to see Cadillac giving us that. It's actually suede on the back part of the seat, so you can literally just play with it, draw stuff on it if you want to. I don't know. Looking at the rear here, you do have 3-zone climate control. That's part of the luxury package. You also get heated rear seats, so that's also a nice feature to have. And overall, the legroom is pretty good. Good foot space underneath here. Very tall center tunnel. Of course, this vehicle is rear drive, but you can see here it does have a nice armrest with some more storage. There is, I believe, some cup holders in here, if you can open it, or they might actually be here. Oh no, there's a little bit more storage there. Oh, there we go. The cup holders are actually right here. You kind of just push this forward and there's cup holders. You do have a nice pass-through right here for something that's longer, and then the seats are 60/40. That's also part of the luxury package. Now, unfortunately, a power opening and closing trunk is not available. I kind of expected that at this price point. It is on the CT6, just not on the CTS. You can see here, looking at the trunk, it's got a pretty large opening with some hinges here that won't crush your cargo, but it does kind of eat into the space. You're looking at a smaller trunk versus its competitors, about 13.7 cubic feet. Not bad, still very usable. You can see here the seats, they fold down, just like I said. There is no spare on this car. It just comes with a fix-a-flat kit with a tire inflator. You can't really expect that. This is a performance car, so you better call AAA if you guys get to flatten this thing. So underneath the hood of the latest CTS-V, you have basically the same motor in the current Corvette ZO6. This is the company's 6.2 liter direct injection supercharged V8, the LT4 motor. It has direct injection now. It has variable cylinder management, so this will run on 4 cylinders to save fuel while you're coasting or cruising. Now the numbers slightly detuned versus the ZO6. 640 horsepower, the most in the class, and 630 pound-feet of torque. The ZO6 makes 650 on both ends. Now, this vehicle only comes with rear drive. It comes standard with a limited slip differential, of course, only through an 8-speed automatic. It weighs roughly around 4,100 pounds, so it's about 400 pounds lighter than its German rivals, except the Lexus GSF, which actually weighs a little bit less than this, but also has less power. Fuel economy, in case you care, is rated at 14 in the city, 21 on the highway. Even with that cylinder deactivation, you're still getting hit with a gas guzzler tax for about $1,000 bucks. But of course, you didn't buy this to save gas. You bought it because you wanted to burn rubber. So let's go do that. So 2 years ago when I drove the CTS-V Sport, I was really impressed with the car. Loved the ATS-V that I showed you earlier this year. However, I haven't had a chance to actually drive GM's new LT4 with the supercharged V8. So let's get out on the road and see how this all-new CTS-V performs, shall we? And from the moment you start the damn thing, oh my god, it just reminds you you're in a really, really special Cadillac. This is definitely not your grandpa's Caddy, that's for sure. Now, first, setting off in the CTS-V, I'm immediately noticing just how small this car actually feels from behind the wheel. Now, of course, it is a long car. I don't really feel the added length that Caddy has added. The front end just feels really stiff. The steering, super direct, sharp. And the car just kind of drives smaller than it is. I mean, I love the way the ATS-V and the Camaro drove. So this is basically the same platform, just a little bit longer. And it feels really good just at initial takeoff. Oh, God. Oh, my... Really? Okay, I'm gonna have to be careful with my right foot because that was with the stability control on in its sport setting, and holy crap, the tail end just likes to step out on this thing. Oh. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's fantastic. That is just fantastic. Wow. Oh! Once it finally puts power down, oh, listen to that shifts from that 8-speed. Holy smokes. I'm in heaven right now, pretty much. This is... this is phenomenal. Every time you go near the throttle, the back end likes to step out. It's ridiculous. Now, I've been driving the car around in its sport setting here. I'm actually going to go to the track setting. This is where you can access the performance traction management that this car has, which offers 5 different levels. Now, this car actually has launch control. Let's try the launch control out, shall we? So you want to put it into dry, Sport 1, kind of just come to a stop here. Hit the brake hard and then floor the accelerator. I screwed that one up. Definitely screwed that one up. So when you get the CTS-V on a curvy back road, you would think because it's such a big, long sedan, that it wouldn't be that great. However, you'd be incredibly wrong. The chassis in this thing, the steering, remarkable. It's super heavy. It feels like what BMW used to do on their steering systems. Really direct. The front end just has so much grip, and keep in mind, my Tester has snow tires on it. But you can see here, going into these corners here, the car just turns in so directly. I just have to be really careful with the throttle because you can easily make the tail step out, and the stability control is super aggressive, and it's a good thing that it is, because a lot of you would probably just crash if you just kind of put your foot down and didn't really care with the fact that you had 640 horsepower under your right foot. But oh my god, this is just incredible. And you know, with the magnetic rheological dampers, the adjustable dampers that this car has, the ride is also incredible. I have it in its sports setting here, and I could daily drive this. It's also very quiet when you don't put your foot down. The exhaust isn't terribly loud, but there's very little wind noise, very little road noise, and all you do is just hear is that lovely exhaust when you do decide to plant your foot. Holy crap! So when you get the rear tires to hook up on this thing, Cadillac says it'll get to 60 in 3.7 seconds, and I believe them. It also has a top speed of 200 miles an hour, and I believe them again. But really, it's just all about trying to get the rear tires to hook up. This is not an easy car to drive when you aren't used to rear drive cars. I mean, it spins its wheels in like second and third, and you really have to be mindful of your throttle applications. But anyways, I'm gonna put the car into its touring setting. It'll quiet the exhaust down, it'll lighten up the shocks, and one thing the CTS-V is missing is any kind of active driving assistance tech. This car has passive driver assistance tech where it has blind spot, rear cross traffic, it has lane departure alert and forward collision alert. However, it does not offer adaptive cruise, it doesn't offer active lane keep. Cadillac offers it on the lower level CTS models, but they figured for the V, you don't really want those features. I understand. However, a lot of the German competitors offer that, so I think Cadillac should be offering it just in case buyers, want it. This is going to be, a family vehicle, a daily driver is what I'm thinking. It's the person who's going to buy this car. So, it'd be nice to have those features. But, I mean, in terms of everyday driving, super easy to drive. Visibility is great. Love that rear view camera mirror. I showed it to you in other Cadillac models. It works just great in here as well. Really cool gimmicky feature that impresses your passengers. The side mirror is a little bit small, but you have traditional shapes here with the design, so I can see out of the back very well and out of the sides pretty well too. Now, coming up to the conclusion of my review, I want to talk about the fuel economy, because I know I wouldn't buy this car to save gas. I mean, honestly, I pass by Prius drivers and just kind of floor it just to show them how wasteful I am with this car. But I've only been averaging about 11 miles to the gallon. I only got about 150 miles, and that basically drank 3/4 of a tank. I think this car has like an 18-gallon tank, so it's a thirsty car. Now, the computer is actually telling me the best MPG it's gotten is 24. So when you combine that cylinder deactivation, you combine the 8-speed automatic, how it revs really low on the highway, you can actually get good gas mileage, but I have to tell you, you have to have a crap ton of discipline to not put your foot down hard on this thing, and it took all of my willpower to not do that on the highway. It's just a ridiculous car. You don't want to drive this car slowly. So let's try the launch control one more time here. Let's put it into its track setting. And you want to basically double tap the stability control off button once it goes into its track setting. That'll enter the performance traction management, PTM, and you want to put it into a sport mode here, or any kind of mode really. Now, GM says to activate launch control, hold the brake hard and then slam the accelerator. All right, now as soon as you're ready, lift off the brake. And that was 60 in like literally 3-ish seconds. This is this is ridiculous, guys. Absolutely. Oh, I love this thing. I freaking love this thing. It's so fantastic. So fast, makes all the right noises. It handles like a much smaller sedan. Cadillac should just be incredibly proud of what they've done with this all-new CTS-V. I cannot get enough of that, and that's exactly why I've been averaging only 10 miles to the gallon. Oh, that hurts. Anyways, the price. What does all of this much fun and luxury cost, huh? Well, the CTS-V is definitely not a cheap date. This car starts at $85,900, just under 86. Now, if you compare it to its German competitors, it is slightly cheaper. The Mercedes AMG E63S easily starts at over 100 grand. So you do save a lot of money. The Lexus GSF starts at about the same. However, you get like almost 200 less horsepower. So in terms of value for your horsepower per dollar, this is a winner. Now, obviously, my tester is not a standard CTS-V. It actually has about a Honda Civic EX worth of options on it, about $23,000 worth of options. The most expensive being that carbon black package that's new for 2017. That's $7 grand. That gives you like the front splitter, the carbon fiber rear diffuser, spoiler, carbon fiber hood, the black chrome grille. It looks fantastic, worth every penny on this white. My tester also has a luxury package for $2,000, the pano sunroof for $1,500. The color is extra, the red brake calipers are extra, the suede seats are extra. All in, mine's about $109,900, just under $110,000, which it sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But keep in mind, all the German competitors, they're easily going to be another $20,000, $30,000. The Japanese, the Lexus GSF is really the cheaper one, and that has a lot less power. Okay, slow down there. I definitely don't need any speeding tickets. This is a crazy car. But anyways, well, all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview of the insanely powerful and awesome 2017 Cadillac CTS-V. If you're in the market for a super sedan like this and just don't want the typical German offering that your neighbor has, this American Caddy is definitely worth a look. It's basically just a Corvette ZO6 in a sedan body, so you can put 5 people in this thing, and it's just a phenomenal bargain that looks fantastic, that's surprisingly capable on a track just right out of the box, that rides great, that is easy to drive when you don't put your foot down hard in the corners, and if you have the discipline, it can actually get okay gas mileage. Just keep in mind it's impossible when you have this much power. But anyways, if you guys are also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, keep subscribed to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.